What a week. One and still, one and new. It's the return of the Reaper, and New Zealand has a brand new combat sports streaming platform. Let's take a look what happened in the last week with a squared up update. UFC 315 was on yesterday in Montreal. There's a lot to cover, so let's speed really quickly. Pretty good sweep for the Canadians. 4 out of 6 Canadians won in their home crowd. A lot of cheers for it. You love to see it. And there were 2 titles on the line. Valentina Shevchenko successfully defended her women's flyweight bout against #1 contender Manon Fiorot. Manon came into the fight as the betting favorite as she was on a 12-fight win streak and she was undefeated in the UFC. Valentina showed us why she is the women's flyweight GOAT and shut her out with a UD. Jack Della Maddalena became the 2nd consecutive Australian champion in consecutive pay-per-views alongside Alex Volkanovski when he defeated former welterweight champion Belal Muhammad. People love to hate Belal online, but after that fight of the night and the display in heart Belal showed, he just absolute chin, press forward, he even left the cage with a completely split lip. You have to give him some respect even if you don't like him. JDM has become the 4th ever Oceanic champion alongside Israel Adesanya, Alex Volkanovski and Robert Whittaker. For pay-per-views leading up to International Fight Week, it's no surprise to see inductees into the Hall of Fame. We saw Vitor Belfort's announced induction into the Hall of Fame into the Pioneers wing. So he'll be inducted into there on International Fight Week. Navajo Sterling went into the cage with New Zealand on his back and he left the cage with a 7-0 record when he came out with a UD win. He was so close to getting the TKO there towards the end. His opponent was tough as nails and managed to keep fighting his way to his feet and managed to hang in there into the last bell. Speaking of Robert Whittaker, we get to see the return of the Reaper in July against Renier Derrida in Abu Dhabi. RDR called out Sean Strickland when he beat Bo Nickel last week. Rumors say that Israel Adesanya wants Strickland for his next fight. He wants to get that one back. So the UFC has given Renier Derrida Robert Whittaker instead. We're also expecting the final announcement for UFC 317 for International Fight Week this week. Rumor is that a Kiwi is going to be on that card, but as of filming this, there's been no announcement, so that one will have to wait till next week. Just a reminder that Road to UFC is on next week, and we have 2 Kiwis fighting, Lawrence and Aaron. They'll be fighting in a 3-round knockout tournament, and the finals will be held on UFC Fight Night, and the winners will get UFC contracts. So make sure you tune into that and support our boys. And probably the news I'm most excited to announce, absolute legend within the combat sports community in New Zealand, Tony from Combat TV has announced today that he is launching his own streaming platform. combattv.co.nz will be a subscription service and it will host the 30 years of footage that Tony has done, and before we even had CSN there was just Tony. So you can see all the footage from Israel Adesanya before he was in the UFC, even his coach Eugene Behrman will be on there. It's still work in progress. It's going to be awesome for the culmination of 30 years of Tony's hard work of being in the trenches on New Zealand combat sport, and we get to have all his archive footage, and it's just a captured moment in history. And that's the MMA news for this week, and now you are all squared up.